How's everybody doing today? Jason with Toadstool Gardens, and today we're planting strawberry plants. I'm also going to show you exactly how to root your runners. Come on, let's go. So I'm going to be planting them right here in one of my raised beds. It's not huge, but it's about a foot off the ground, and I'm going to be coming in here and tilling this up with my shovel, about a shovel's worth, just so the soil is loosened up. Now in this bed I have about 50% black soil and 50% compost, so it doesn't ever really get bunched up or compact too much. That's why it's perfect for veggie plants and strawberries and whatnot. We got a wire worm. Got him out of there. Ever see these wire worms in your soil? Get rid of them. I'm gonna be planting these berries galore strawberries today. Yeah, they get decent size. Some of them get slightly bigger than that. I just went to my buddy's garden center and picked these up. Now these are a June bearing, but these are an improved berries galore, so they will still push berries out, through June, through July, and sometimes into August. So let's get this raised bed tilled up a little bit and we'll get them planted. I'm only going about a shovel's worth just to loosen it up. You don't even really have to go down that far unless your soil is really compact. Now, I had melons planted here last year and they did okay, but I'm expanding my strawberry gardens. This is, I think, the 5th or 6th variety I have out here now. Not in the same areas, just to make sure they're not going to cross-pollinate. Make sure you get all those worms back in there, covered up. Obviously pull out any weeds you find, any roots from the previous year if it's a new bed. For perennial plants versus veggies, that's exactly what this one is. It's looking pretty good. There, we got it all tilled up. So before I plant my strawberry plants, I want to put down some blood meal. Now, this, for guaranteed analysis on the NPK scale, this is a 12-0-0. But I'm not only using this for fertilizer, I'm also going to use this for keeping small pests like mice, voles, moles away. Because if they smell this blood meal, they affiliate it with predators, so they usually stay away. Let's get some of this down. Just going to do a nice sprinkling all through the bed. You don't have to have it coated by any means. Just give a nice sprinkling. Worms back in there. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit down here just to keep them out of my mint too. Yes, I have mint in the same bed. It doesn't creep out as much as people think, a spread. But I mean, it does spread a good foot a year, and I'm usually cutting it back. So we'll see how well this works with the strawberries. All right, I got my blood meal down. Now I'm not even gonna work this in. I'm just gonna leave it right on top of the soil. And then when I'm doing my planting, I'm gonna be putting some of this chicken coop fertilizer down. This stuff is excellent for all vegetable plants. It's all organic. So let's get a few of these strawberries put in this bed. I'm going to start right in the corner. Just use your hand, dig a small hole, sprinkle a little poop in there, poop, work it in. Make sure there's no weeds or nothing around your plants. These came in 6-packs. So there's a chance I'm gonna have to. Oh yeah, these runners are all over already. Now, if you do get huge runners like this, just break them apart right in the middle. You can see some of the runners right here. Pop this upside down. You can see the roots coming already. Whoop, lost a couple. Okay, there's one of my 6-packs. Now you want to break up those roots, and you want to plant it soil level right there. Now you don't want to pack them way in. If anything, put them slightly above the soil line, so when you put your mulch in, you still got some room. So we'll do the next one. Now, if you're not totally positive where you want to put them all, you can go ahead and kind of just set them out and divide them where you possibly want them to go. Keep in mind you got your runners. Now, I'm probably only going to do about probably every foot or so, just because I'm going to be really vigilant and really on top of these runners. You can see I pulled this one out, but it's got some root nodes right there, so that means it'll probably root in. So if I get these lined up like that. Now, your average homeowner, if you're going to do this, I would recommend doing them about 1.5 feet, 2 feet apart, because this runner right here is already almost a foot long, and with your runners you have a couple different options. You can go ahead and see those roots. You can root that right into the ground, and when that plant gets a little bigger like this, you just cut the runner right there. Or there's another way I'm going to show you. You can actually pot them. Now, for instance, say this pot, well, say for instance I'm just using this pot right here. So what I'll do is I'll fill that pot up with dirt, and I'll set it, dig a little hole, and I'll set it right in the ground next to that strawberry plant that has the runner, and I'll stick that runner right into that pot. And I'll just leave it right like that until the strawberry gets big enough where I can just cut that root and it'll easily transplant right out of that pot. But today, I'm going to leave all these runners out because I want this bed to thicken up as quickly as possible. So, I'm going to dig my little hole here. We're going to start on the ends and work our way in, just so we can fill in the gaps. Get a half handful of chicken dew, work it in there, work your roots up. Fill her right back in. Strip that out. Now, since this one already has a pretty good sized runner with roots, I'm just going to plant them in the ground right there. And then in a couple weeks, I'll come back and I'll just clip that right off. So I'll probably do one there, one there. Dig our holes with our hands, get those roots out of there. Put down a little poop, work that in. Keep in mind we got the blood meal in there too, so we've got pretty much all aspects of the NPK ratio covered, unless you want to add a little magnesium and calcium. But strawberries are not super picky when it comes to that. And a lot of times your soil is going to have enough magnesium in it in the first place. So if you have no idea, then go ahead and I'd recommend doing a soil test so you know exactly what you have and you don't over fertilize. The next one in the ground, chop those roots up. Make sure you firm the dirt around the roots because you don't want to get air in there because that will make the plant rot, the roots rot. Get that crawler in there. All right, there, there. Get all these out. You got some pretty big runners. Another nice strawberry coming in on that one. Got a runner coming there. Alright, get our chicken dew. Little shot in each hole. Work it in. And then we'll get the next row in. I like to hold the plants up like this, so you don't get those leaves all dirty. Rough up the roots so they spread. On to the next ones. We got berries coming in already. Now these plants were pretty reasonable. I think I paid $12 for a 6-pack. So considering that these plants will last many, many years. That's a pretty good deal. I'm pretty happy with that purchase. All right, we'll get this next row in. This one looks a little off. I'll just shove him over. Make our holes. Okay, work that in a little, rough up our roots. That looks a little too far over. Top all the roots. One left here. All right, let's get our mulch. So I'm going to be using just standard straw. Pretty standard stuff, anything, you know, you'd get at the garden center. They don't call them strawberries for a reason. Ha 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 ha. But seriously, you can use pretty much any mulch you want. I also like to use the shredded pine. It's sold like at Fleet Farm and farm stores as animal bedding. That stuff works great because it's kiln dried, and you know that all the weed seeds have been killed off, if there is any, or if there's any disease or viruses in it, they're all killed off. Make sure you're not burying leaves. You want a good, about 3-inch thickness on this. A lot of times your straw will just come right off the bale in sheets. Make sure you're not covering up your runners. Now this will help tremendously so your berries do not grow and sit in the dirt, because they will rot, and insects will find them much faster if they're in the dirt. Make sure you get all the spots covered up. And that's a big thing. You definitely want to do this before you water these in, because if you splash that dirt up on the leaves, there's a good chance you're going to get a bacterial infection. Keep going over here. Get that berry up on the straw. another fun little project you can do is if you're having problems with birds and rodents eating your strawberries, first I recommend that blood meal. But the second thing I would recommend is to get yourself a bunch of rocks that are about the size of the berries and paint them all green with little black dots on them. The birds will come and peck the rocks and realize that that's not a berry. And a lot of times they won't ever try to peck here again because they had that happen the first time. Okay, looks like we're pretty filled in. Now over the next week or so, these plants will come up through the straw. But this should be enough to suppress most weeds unless you get some big stuff like mint, or sometimes you'll get some of that stinging nettle. That stuff's a little harder and it'll pop right through the straw. But for the most part, this is going to suppress most of the weeds. Not to mention that, it'll help hold your moisture for your strawberries. So we got this bed pretty much done. I've got another 6 plants that I'll probably put over here. I'll clean this up, get some more of this mint out of here, and plant another row right here for sure. But for the most part, that's how you do it. Now don't forget to water these in. You always want to water them in nice and heavy the first time. And strawberries are super easy. They establish quickly. And anybody can plant them and have success. So, until next time, Jason from Toadstool Gardens, happy growing!